My name is Abby Moon, and I am one of the senior Planet Fitness sponsored athletes. There were 5 of us, and I was one of them. I'm also competitive powerlifting, and I have been doing powerlifting since 2015. I've had a few interruptions. I've had like a knee replacement, a hip replacement, a broken leg. I was in a car accident and various things, but I've always managed to get back into it. My reasons for becoming a powerlifter are a little different. I was a domestic violence victim, and even when my abuser was out of the house, I lived in fear. Fear ruled my life. I was afraid to go out at night. I was afraid to be with friends because I was afraid he would hurt them. And it just went on and on. And I'm thinking, gee, is this going to be my life? Is this going to be it? And like I said, I had a restraining order. I'd gone to therapy. I'd taken this class on if you're attacked, how you're supposed to scream. But nothing really helped. And one day I woke up and I really made this decision that the only person who could save me was me, and that I had to get strong. So if I had to, I could defend myself, but mostly I just wanted to feel strong because I didn't feel strong. I felt weak. So I joined a CrossFit class, and it was incredibly challenging for me because I had never done anything athletic. I had inline skated for a while and I rode my bike, but that was it. So I had to learn all these new moves, and I had to have everything modified for months. But the amazing thing that happened was I learned the moves and I could keep up with people. Not as fast and with not as much weight, but I could participate in a class as a member, not someone who needed a ton of modifications. So the owner of my gym, somebody named Derek, who also became my trainer, suggested that I try their powerlifting class. And I went, and I really liked it. And I found out that I was quite strong for my age and weight. So I did my first competition, and I call it a dismal failure, but it wasn't, because I learned a lot from it. I learned what you have to do to be in a competition. And everyone in my gym was so supportive. It was unbelievable. And they encouraged me and encouraged me. And I kept competing. And I ended up going to 3 nationals, which leagues have. You have to go to them to be able to go to a world meet. I went to a world meet in Ireland in 2019. And I just got back from a huge world meet in Sweden. And it was very, very, very exciting because there were people from all over the world. And I had just never been around that many athletes. So it was an amazing experience, and I'm thrilled that I got to go. So that's my story. When you think of powerlifting, the thing that always strikes me is there are so many benefits from it. And I just want to run through those. The first one is, as we get older, our muscles start to go. I guess they call it muscle atrophy. Well, if you start powerlifting, your muscles will stop going. What you'll end up is you'll develop muscles that you never knew you had. So I find that really, really helpful. You're just strong. The second thing is it really develops your leg muscles And what's great about that is you can now walk further, or if you hike, you can hike further, or, you know, if you ride your bike, you can ride your bike further, but your legs are really, really strong. It also develops your lung capacity. I was thinking about this and I was thinking, I don't think that's happened with me. But then I realized I hardly ever use my inhaler anymore because I have athlete's asthma. So it's obviously improved my lung capacity. The other thing is bone density. It makes much stronger bones. And so when you get if you start powerlifting and you go to get your next bone density test, you'll notice that your numbers have not gotten worse, and they may have even improved. The other thing is, I think it gives you this confidence that, so I don't do other sports, so maybe other sports do the same thing, but I know that I feel so much more confident. You know, I walk pretty straight now. I'm not in any danger of being rounded, and I just feel really good. And what it's done for me is, because there aren't many seniors powerlifting, I'm around a lot of younger people, which is great. It's also made me very, very open to new activities and being willing to try them, which I don't think I would have done before 2015. So I took up kayaking this summer, which was great. And next year, there's a Hawaiian form of canoeing that I'm going to take up. And I'm also trying to, Seattle has all these electric scooters, and they look like they're really fun. They look a little daunting, but I've decided in 2022 that is going to be a goal, that I will be able to get on a scooter and use it. So those are the benefits that I see from powerlifting. I'm sure there are tons of others, but that's what it's done for me. So what I would like to do now is to talk about, I'm going to just move this box, talk about the moves that I really think are essential for powerlifting. And they are the squat, they are the push-ups, they are planks, and the last one is rows. So what I'm going to do, because I know a lot of you work out and probably know how to do most of these, but I'm going to start from the beginning. So for people who have not done these moves, they'll understand that there's a progression. So I'm going to start with the squat first. And I think the best introduction for the squat, when you're first trying it, is to do it with a chair. So your feet are shoulder width apart, and you go down, come up, and your body should be straight. So as you come up, your hips go out. And I would say you should be able to do at least 20 of those comfortably before you move on. And you just start doing parallel squats. And it's the same motion, the same body setup. Your head should be up, your chest should be out, your body should be stiff, shoulders back, and you're just gonna go like this. And again, I would say be able to do 10 to 15 of those before you move on to a full squat. And what I want to say about the full squat is it's very, very challenging, and it takes a while to learn it. And with the full squat, you have to be below parallel. And if you compete, which I'm really hoping I can get people interested enough to think about getting into this sport and competing. If you're not below parallel, they don't count the move. This is what's considered a full squat. I always make this weird noise when I go down into a squat. You don't have to, it's just, I take a really deep breath. So I would go, get down as far as I can, and then do a little extra and come up. Do a little extra and come up. And that's what I'll do one more, and I'm hoping everyone can see that I'm below parallel. Again, my chest is up, head's up, and I'm going to take my breath and get down as low as I can, and then a little more and come up. As I said, I think the squat is really, really challenging, but I think we all can get there. It just means that you have to practice them every day. I try and do 10 to 20 squats a day, just so I don't lose the feeling of what it feels like to be below parallel. And again, if you're going to compete, you got to get below parallel. The next move that I think is essential is the push-up. And the push-up is also my favorite move. So, and it's what I like to do the most is bench. So you can start just leaning on something and getting that movement, come down and come up, come down and come up. And again, I would say you should be able to do 10 of these comfortably. The other reason that I think push-ups are so essential is women tend to lose their upper body strength as they get older. So we have to do push-ups. And with the push-up, you do it in phases, and I'll show you this. Like, so this is a bench push-up, and if you can't get all the way down, that's fine. You could just go to that and keep practicing until you can get further down. So what it would look like is this. But if all you can do is that, that's fine. And just your goal is that you need to get your chest on the bench. So once you have conquered that, you're going to do what's called on your knee push-up. And what that is you're on your knees and you touch. And again, if all you can do is that, that's fine. Hopefully in a week, you'll be able to get down a little further. So your goal is to be able to touch your chest to the ground. What I want to share about push-ups, I'm going to do a full one in a minute, is there were a number of women who were in their 30s at my gym who could never do a full push-up. They were all doing them on their knees. So it's a hard one, but it's so important. And then a real push-up, I gotta move this. A real push-up looks like this. Your hands are under your shoulders. And what you're gonna do is down, up, But when you're starting, if all you can do is that, that's fine. If all you can do is that, that's fine. Or that, and eventually you'll get there. But it's a wonderful, wonderful move. And I really encourage people to learn it. And as I said, you just work on it gradually. The next exercise that I consider essential that you've got to learn is the plank. And the modification for this is if you have a bench, just doing 5 of these at 30 seconds. So just set your phone. The other thing that you can do are wall planks. So we'll move this, and I'm going to use this, make believe it's a wall, feet of that, and just do 30 of them. I mean, do 5 of them at 30 seconds. And at first it feels incredibly easy, but by the end of it, your arms will be shaking, I guarantee you. The next modification on the plank is, again, on your knees, and you're on your elbows, and you are doing 5, and they should be 30 seconds each. And I would say be comfortable doing at least 10 of these, because this is we're really moving on. The next squat is a full squat. I didn't learn this way, so I'll show you how I learned. But you're on your elbows, and you're just bring yourself up, and your head should be up. And again, set your watch at 30 seconds. You can go up to 45 seconds. You can go up to a minute. But I would say 5 to 10 again is a good figure. And then the way that I learned the squat, I mean the plank, was a full body plank. So my back's straight, my arms are straight, my head should be up. And these are hard. And again, 5 at 30 seconds. So the last move that I want to demonstrate is one that is essential to develop your back muscles. And you're going to need a dumbbell for this. And I would start with, I mean, whatever feels comfortable, even if it's 5 pounds, it's okay. So you're going to, you have your dumbbell in your arm. You're going to bend your knees, keep your back as straight as possible, and you're going to row. And I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you do them on both sides, so it's the same movement. It's just your back is as straight as you can get it, or parallel, and your knees are bent, and you're just rowing. And you should start with 10 on each side. And when this weight starts to feel easy, I would go up 5 pounds. So if you're starting with 5, go up to 10. And then you have a 12-pound weight. That's a good transition. Or try and go up to 15. I do a Zoom class in the morning with friends, and I always tell them that if we're doing rows and they're only at 15 pounds, that they do at least one with a 20-pound dumbbell. And that seems to work really well. And then we add 2. But again, just start where you're comfortable. And if 15 pounds is your limit or 10 pounds is your limit, that's fine. Because what you really, really are working on is getting this arm back and your shoulder back. And that really will develop your upper back, which you need for deadlifting. So those are my suggestions for exercises. And what we're going to do now is we're going to see some videos of me, and I'm going to point out what's good and what definitely needs improvement. And this is a really great thing to do once you start powerlifting, is to have somebody video you. Because I always think, oh, my back's not rounded, or the bar's close to my legs. But I see a video and I'm like, oh my goodness, no, it's not at all. So the first video we're going to look at is a back squat.
Okay, and just so you folks know, there will absolutely be time for questions, because a few came up in the chat and people wanted to know if they'll have a chance to ask you questions, Abby. So we'll get through the video.
Yeah, I'd love to get questions.
Yeah, so we'll get through the videos and then we will get to questions. Don't mind my very messy screen, everyone.
Okay.
Okay, you all are seeing the video or the image of Abby here? Okay.
Squat.
So I come down and I'm below parallel.
No, not that. You're good.
Now, you will notice in there that I tend to go forward, and that's something that I'm really working on. You know, it's something that powerlifters do, some powerlifters. And I used to think, oh my goodness, if I tipped, I was going to fall over, but it's never happened. And what you want to do when you're back squatting is your weight should be on your heels. Your head is up, like I said, and your chest is up. And when you do that, your shoulders just automatically go back. And the placement for the pole, the bar in a back squat, is there 2 bones in the back of your neck, and it should be right below that, and it will rest. At first it will feel terrible, but then you get used to it.
Do you want me to play this?
Even notice it.
Do you want me to play this again, or should we move on to the next one?
We can move on to the next one.
Okay. I'm gonna stop sharing and then I'll find the other one and come back to it. And so now we're going to do the bench press. Okay.
This is my favorite move of all the powerlifting moves. I could go to the gym and I could bench press all day. And he's doing commands there. So the commands with the bench press are, they lift it off for you, and then they go start, and you have to bring it down. And then press.
Abby,
and then you rack it.
About how much weight are you benching there?
115 pounds.
Nice.
And I think the other one I sent was 120. They're both, they're similar, but that was when I was getting ready for my competition in Sweden.
Awesome. So we'll go to
Oh, the other thing I wanted to say about the bench press is you will see people benching with these incredible arches. and their back. And I do not have the mobility for it. And what that arch does is it makes your the range of motion much shorter. So if you're way up here and the bar only has to come to here, it's a much shorter lift. But if you're like me, with very limited arch, you have to come down further, and lifting it up is further. And there is a lot written on the benefits of each movement. So I would not worry if you don't have this amazing arch. I find it very hard to develop.
Abby, we can't even do as many push-ups as you do. We're not worried about our arches right now.
No, I was just mentioning it because I'm sure people have watched bench pressing, and these arches are incredible.
All right, I'm gonna go to your next video. Abby is so funny.
Now, in that video, I was totally convinced that my back was not rounded, but as you can see, it is. And I thought that I had the bar much closer to my legs, because that's really what has to happen in a deadlift, is you just bring it up as close as you can and then you put it down. I'm gonna say two things about the back rounding. My back starts to round the minute I hit 200 pounds. And it's something that I work on a lot. And someday it will not round, but for now it's slightly rounding. And I have a really strong back, so I'm not worried about it. Was my other major point? Can't even remember, I forgot it.
How much are you lifting here, Abby?
I think it's 200 pounds. I'm not sure. It's either 185 or 200.
Nice.
And deadlifts are an amazing exercise. Even if you start with a very limited amount of weight, you're eventually going to build up. So what I would recommend if you really want to pursue this is there's a app, there's a stronglifts.com, and it's a phenomenal explanation of how to start a powerlifting program. And what he does is he does it in terms of, on Monday you do 5 sets of 5 benches, then you go to squats, and then you go to deadlifts. And start with your naked bar and just do the naked bar until you feel comfortable. There's no pressure to move up at all. And then he will suggest that you add 5 to 10 pounds. So you probably would want to add 10 pounds with your squat. So that would bring you up to 65 pounds. You probably would want to add 2.5 to 5 pounds on your bench. And your deadlift, you probably will want to add 20 pounds. One thing about the deadlift, you have to start with 10 pounds on each side. Otherwise, it's just going to lay on the ground and you want it up a little. So that's essentially it. Oh, and you start with a 45-pound Olympic bar, and most gyms have them. I would suggest, if there's even maybe you can find something online, powerlifting for beginners online, and you just watch them and watch them. You really need to be in a gym for powerlifting though, because you need the rack. So I guess you'll just have to really work on those moves, and then when you can go to a gym, you'll be in really good shape. So I just wanted to end with 2 things. First of all, I really want more seniors to get into powerlifting, because I want to see more of us competing. It's like we're not represented at all. And I know that we're very strong and we're very motivated and we're very mighty and we can do this. Because the way I look at it, if I can do this, anybody can do this. And it's not, I'm not putting myself down. It's more in terms of, I just was not an athlete. I never thought I could do this. But when you start powerlifting, it's just fun. And you want to add more weight and you want to get better. And anyway, and then the second thing is don't get discouraged. The best way to do this really is to find a workout partner. So you're both going to the gym together. That is the most incredible thing you can do. I have one. And there are days when I don't want to go to the gym, but she's going, so I have to go. And it just is really helpful. And just lastly, we're mighty and powerful as seniors. So I'm hoping that people have questions.
Yeah, people definitely have questions. So
Okay.
the other thing that we wanted to tell y'all, I want to say this before too many of you drop off, but you know, Abby is so interested and committed in seeing other older adults powerlifting that she has offered to even coach a group for Senior Planet. You know, if it's something that you want to even just give a try. I mean, we don't know what it's going to look like. Y'all know that I'll throw out these ideas, not knowing what it's going to be, but it's a seed and then it develops. So the seed that we hope will develop is that some of you will be interested in learning more about this and potentially, you know, attending sessions that we'll host with Abby to get you ready for powerlifting. So I can't wait to hear how many of you are interested, because I'm
Me
sure
either.
you will be, right? Okay, so I wanted to start our questions with Mary. So Mary, you sent me a message asking if there would be, yeah, and you can also raise your hand if you have a question. I'm going to start with those in the chat. So Mary, did you want to unmute yourself and ask a question?
Sure. I don't know if you can hear me or not. I just put my question in the chat, but I have compromised knees from arthroscopic surgery, and I've never been able to do a squat or a lunge that is hardly a dip. So I was wondering what you might suggest for either a modification for that or for possibly being able to build up to it.
Do you do knee squats? Do you wear, I guess they're called knee sleeves?
No, I don't.
That would be a really, really helpful thing. And Inzer makes them, and I think it's SBD, I think it's SBD. They're an English company. And the reason I'm recommending these two companies is that their knee sleeve is so strong, you almost feel like your knee is in a vice. And they're very hard to get on, but if you decide to do this, I can give you some tips on how to get them on. But I think that would really, really help tremendously. The exercise that I do for when I start lifting, because I have trouble with my knees, is let's see, I put a band around something strong, and I step back and I straighten my leg and count to 5 and then let it go limp. And I do 10 of these. My right side is the bad side, but I think that one will really help you.
So the band is around, so Abby, just to be clear, the band is around something and your foot, right?
Yeah, the band is around here. I'll show you. The band is around something that's strong and gonna hold it. And then you put the band behind your knee and you just straighten your leg. And ideally the band should be higher. And you get it, you can feel it. You'll feel your muscles just totally straighten.
Abby, can you
And-
please repeat the names of the sleeve, the people
Oh,
that,
sure. Yeah. God, my voice. The first one is Inzer, Inzer. And the second one that I really like, they're called SBD, I think. I have them, I should know the name of them. But I can give those to Fiona because I was gonna give her some resources anyway to post.
thank you very much.
You're welcome, but really try the knee sleeve. And it makes an incredible difference.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Great. So the next question, I'm going to take two more from the chat and then I will come to you, Brenda and Joanne. So we have Dolores is asking, how long after knee surgery could you do squats?
Well, the way it worked with me was I broke my leg right after I had knee surgery a month after. So it was longer. I went back to the gym in 2 months and I went with a walker. And I didn't really start squatting until at least 4 months. And I started the squat with sitting on something like the chair. And I just kept doing them and doing them. And then I moved on to the parallel squats. And I just kept focusing on trying to get down a little further. And I don't know, somehow it worked. But I would not let a knee, a knee replacement or hip replacement or any of that stop you. Because it doesn't have to.
Indeed, indeed. I think you may have touched on this. How much weight are you able to lift now?
In the gym, I can do, my bench is 125. My deadlift is 225 and my back squat is 125. I never seem to be able to hit those in competitions. And, but I'm determined. I have nationals coming up in February and I'm going to hit my gym weights.
That's right. You absolutely will. All right, let's go to Brenda, Joanne, and Sandra.
Hey everyone, I live in Maryland. First of all, Ms. Abby, you are so very inspirational, very inspirational. And I've always been interested in the weightlifting, but my question for you is, as far as, your nutritional, like your diet, do you have to take protein powders, or how do you keep your, your nutrition up to be able to lift all these things? Is there special diets or anything?
Well, I try and keep my protein at 100 to 125 grams a day. I usually hit 100. I do use protein powders. I've just started using plant-based because supposedly it's better for you. I eat pretty well most of the time, and I eat a lot of fish and like shrimp, that sort of stuff. And I also eat chicken. So I eat that kind of a protein at every meal. And I eat a lot of vegetables. Roasted vegetables are the way to go. Because I can eat a whole cauliflower and it's not that many calories. So it's great. I also have found some recipes using beans, like garbanzo beans are really good. And there are lots of recipes online, but I think the protein is the most important. I do try and limit my carbs. And it's not a keto diet at all because I just have a lot of problems with that one because of all the fat you're eating. But yeah, it's protein, vegetables, fruits, and carbs. Like I eat sweet potatoes like every day.
Okay.
And I do have bad days where I eat potato chips. I'm not perfect.
Okay. Well, when you're training, this last question, and thank you so much. And when you're training for a competition, how many meals do you eat per day, or is there, limit, or how do you do this?
Well, I don't eat usually till 12 o'clock, and then I have a really heavy protein drink that, I put an extra scoop in. So I have that, and then about 3 o'clock, I will have, those rice cakes because I'm gluten intolerant. I take a plain rice cake. I may have 2 or 3 and put turkey on it. So I eat that. And then I have my dinner, which is chicken or fish, a lot of vegetables, and usually a sweet potato. And then before I go to bed, I have another protein drink. I don't know why I do that, but somebody told me it was helpful.
Well, thank you so much.
That's about what I do, but I would really load up on vegetables.
Yes, whether you want to powerlift or not, you should load up on
Right,
vegetables.
exactly. Vegetables and yeah. Oh, and fats, olive oil. I use a lot of olive oil. And I love mayonnaise. And there are several really good ones out that aren't loaded with unnecessary calories.
Yeah. All right, let's go on to Joanne. And by the way, you have lots of interest in folks who would like to coach with you, Abby. So let's go on to Joanne.
I would love it.
Oh, you're still muted, Joanne.
We also have Sandra also.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. You are terrific. And as she said, quite an inspiration. I like to stay fit. I'm not, but I'd like to.
Oh,
My
but
big.
you know what? I just want to stop you for a minute. What I'm doing is not that unusual. There are other people who are in their 70s and lifting. And if you really wanted to,
I want to be strong.
you
I want to be strong. I think my biggest problem is I have a bad lower back. I had a surgery 20 some years ago, and that's what I'd be afraid of. I used to go pre-pandemic. I went to the gym a lot. I'd look at the young ladies or ladies that were over there bench pressing, and I just marveled at them. I mean, I really liked that, but I said, oh, only if, most of them were younger, but not all of them, of them. But I'd love to be stronger. And maybe maybe I wouldn't be able to do 100 or something like that as far as bench pressing, so forth, but I sure would like to try.
Well, I think that the exercises that I went over, I think would be really, really helpful because you won't have any weight and they are going to make you stronger.
Right. I do the planks and some of the other stuff anyway. I do planks. I like planks.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
So you're on your way. And then I don't think bench pressing would hurt your back because bench pressing is mostly your legs. So
Right.
You might want to talk to a physical therapist about that. But
which I'm going to now.
Yeah, I would talk to him or her. I would think bench press would be your thing. And there are competitions just for benching. There's a world bench team.
Oh my God.
Ready, Joanne? Are you ready for the world bench team? Good.
I'm on her team.
I'll see you next year.
All right. Wouldn't that be something?
It would be. It's doable.
Maybe. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, let's go to Sandra. Then we have Lori and Viola.
Hi, Abby.
Hi.
First off, thank you very much. You really are an inspiration. I have a question for you. It's sort of along the lines of Joanne about the lower back. Do you use a belt when you're powerlifting?
Yes.
On your back?
Yes. Great question. I do.
What would you suggest?
I would suggest a powerlifting belt, and you can go online and look at them. And I would get a leather one,
Mhm.
because that's gonna really, really give you support. I don't lift at all without my belt.
Okay, okay, because
And
that's
there
that's
are
my
some
concern.
people that will say, well, you'll never develop your back muscles if you use a belt all the time,
Mhm.
but you're not gonna develop them if your back is hurt. So I just am totally in favor of belts.
Awesome. Thank you. That's what I wanted to know. Thank you so much. And I'm very interested in taking a class with you.
Oh, good, 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 good.
Awesome. By the way, if you are interested, some of you have put your information in the chat. Please do that. Put your email address into the chat and I'll save this and I will be in touch. All right, going on to Lori.
Yes, this is a wonderful class and Abby is extremely inspirational, but I also have a concern about the lower back because I did have a bone density test. And the only place that my bones are weakened, it's in the lumbar region. So would I be able to do this? And then what power moves could I do with a very weak lumbar region?
Well, what I would suggest is, do you go to physical therapy at all?
No, but I've been doing these classes with, it's not bad. The rest of my body is very strong, except for 3 vertebrae in the lumbar region.
Well, the thing is, if you get a good physical therapist, that's the area that they will work on and they'll give you exercises that will really, really help that. I think you can do a plank, and
I
I
did that.
think, yeah, great. And you should be able to do push-ups.
Yes.
And what about squats?
I don't do that because I always felt it puts a lot of pressure on the knees.
Well, I would suggest then, if you're worried about your knees, that you get those sleeves, because I'm telling you, it is incredible what it does to your knee. You just feel like it's like a vice. So it gives your knee a lot of support. But I would start trying planks and start with the chair and move on. And the other thing, bench pressing may be the thing for you, because when I bench press, I really use my legs. And that's mostly what you would be using.
Thank you.
Great. Viola is up next.
Very inspirational. Some of what I had to comment on was what Lori brought up. Basically, when it comes to bone density, are most of the squats equally as helpful, or would you need to include the weights when you're doing the squats?
I think it's the weightlifting, it's the weight training. So people do squats with weights in their hands, and that might be something to think about.
Okay.
And, start with a low weight and then just work your way up. And rows, I think, would really, really, really help with bone density, because you're really using muscles there. And I think push-ups.
Okay.
But yeah, and I don't know what your bone density is now, but I know with mine, I took a lot of prednisone at one point, so I started at a deficit with bone density, but since I've been doing powerlifting, it hasn't changed at all. So I haven't lost any more bone density, and that's what was really starting to happen.
Has it increased?
It has increased a little, like maybe it's like 8.2 now, so it's going up. Because you want to get to 1 or point, yeah. So yeah, it's increased a little, but I'm okay with it just staying where it is, as long as it's not getting worse.
Okay, thank you.
Great.
You're welcome.
So I wanted to invite Colette to either ask a question, because you've posted quite a bit in the chat. I don't know if you wanted to to unmute and share, or if you'd prefer that I just read your comments and questions.
Oh, you can read them. I unmuted, but you go
Oh
ahead.
yeah, go ahead. Yeah, if you could just go ahead and share, that's much better.
All right. Well, I have a lot of osteoarthritis, Abby. Well, first of all, thank you very, very much, Abby. This is phenomenal.
You're very
You can't find women that are doing what you do in the gym, and I just love it because you've so motivated me. I do lift. I don't know when
good.
I started to go to the gym at 50, and I am a very avid gym goer. But
Good.
anyway, but I have a lot of osteoarthritis. I've had both hips replaced, and I have it at various parts of my body. And it's evidently in my feet, especially my left foot. So I was told I'm not to bend my toes. So when I do a plank, I put my ankles on a foam roller.
That's a great idea.
Is that all right, do you think?
Yeah, it's perfect because it also helps with balance.
Oh, all right. And then would you,
that's great.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I'm so excited about all this information. Would you tell Fiona what mayonnaises you like? Because that's something I look for. Because I'll
put that in my resources.
Okay.
All right.
I can't remember. I may have had another question, but I don't know. Thank you very much. And I would love to be in your
Thank you, and keep lifting.
Okay, thank you. I will.
And add weight.
Oh, yes.
And maybe I'll see you next year at Worlds.
I do one arm row, 25 pounds, 15.
That's
reps,
perfect.
2 sets. And then I can't do 30, but I want a trainer to watch and make sure that my form is not decreasing, because 30 is hard for me.
Right. Well, even if you tried 1 at 30.
Okay.
And did that for a couple of weeks, and then the next time add 2 at 30.
I'm going to try your daily. I don't do everything daily. I spread out a bunch of stuff. So I'm eager to try doing squats, push-ups, etc. Every day. For a while, I was doing step-ups every 30 minutes. I just set a little timer because you're supposed to get up and do something. But then it bothered my feet. And so now you've given me the idea, instead of doing that, I should do the things that I can do.
Right, that don't hurt your feet.
Yes.
Great, thank you so much. So folks, I know we're at 4 o'clock, so I want to honor your time. If you need to head out, thank you for joining us. Thank you for, sharing your information in the chat if you're interested. And when Abby and I get together and figure out next steps, we'll definitely be emailing you. If you can stay for a little bit longer, we do have some more hands raised. We have Barbara, Maria, and then Jeffrey. I was waiting for you to raise your hand. So let's start with Barbara.
Hi, Abby. Thanks a lot. I was admiring your posture because that's always been a problem for me. And I've had several injuries on one side of my body, which have really made my posture much worse and feel very asymmetrical. So did you start out with good posture or
No, I didn't start out with good posture. I was slightly rounded, and because of all my trauma, I rounded even more because I sort of kept my head down. And the thing about powerlifting is because you have to stand up straight.
Abby, can you step back a bit?
Oh, sorry. Because you have to stand up straight when you come up with the deadlift, you have to be straight. And it's the same thing when you're lying on the bench, your shoulder blades have to go back. And it just becomes part of you. Like I can notice when I'm really starting to do this, and I correct it as much as possible. So even if when you're sitting, if you feel like you're slouching a little, just bring your shoulder blades back. Don't raise them, but just bring them back. And that's just a really good exercise because it does make you stand up straight.
Thank you.
I just want to add one thing. I think that is one of the biggest signs of aging is people who are slumping, and I think you can take 10 years off your look if you're standing up straight. So
I agree.
yeah, so keep working on it. It sounds like you have some ideas on how to fix it.
I've tried a million different things and seen lots of practitioners for, you know, and nothing seems to work so far. So I just keep working on it. I do exercise like 5 days a week, but I don't do
great.
I don't do any powerlifting. I do some active aging classes and I do use weights but very light ones because my posture is so bad and everything hurts if I try to add extra weight.
What if you tried rows with 5-pound weights?
I could try that.
Yeah, because rows really force you to bring your shoulders back. I mean, you can't do a row without doing that. Yeah. And what you really want is the movement, so the weight doesn't matter that much.
Okay, sounds great. Thank you.
All right, good, try it.
Okay.
Thank you. Please. Now we have Maria, Jeffrey, and then Marcia.
Hi. First of all, Fiona, thank you for bringing Abby. And Abby, thank you for your incredible information. For myself, I would like to do it because I do not have much strength. The biggest, the heaviest weight that I've been able to do is 3 pounds. And when you said 5, I do have a 5 pound, which I cannot even pick up, you know, so I would need you to build my strength, first of all, and my posture. My posture was the vein of my mother's life because she kept saying she was going to get some kind of a piece with the nail so that when I slouch, it would keep my back.
I've heard that one too.
You heard that, you know. So anyway, I definitely would like to do it. As far as the bone density, only once I had my bone density and it was okay. It was good, actually. It was very good. But what I was hoping that Arlene was going to be here because this, my newest toy is the bouncer, the rebounding, and that's supposed to strengthen the bones density because the astronauts, that's how they get back.
Wow.
It has been researched according to things that I have seen in YouTube, and Arlene gave these things. So that encouraged me to get the rebounding. Like I said, it's my newest toy because that's supposed to help with bone density. And there is no question about it that when I was born with a deficiency in calcium, and God bless my mother, she pumped me with so much calcium that I have such strong nails and such strong teeth thanks to that. So, and that's why but I don't want to lose the thing, but if I could increase it, it has declined. I would love to do this, but definitely I wanted to mention the rebounding, which people are concerned with the bone density. And I thank you so very much.
Can I, Fiona, do I have time to just show her a move that would really help her get up to 5 pounds?
Quickly, yeah, because we have 2 more questions.
Oh, please show me.
It's called a bicep curl, and I don't have any 5-pound weights, so I'll do it with a heavier weight, but let's see. So if you started doing these every day, your weight is right here. And what you're basically doing is you're bringing it up like this. And do it with your 3-pound weights. Do like maybe 5 sets of 5. And on each one of those, do 4 sets of 5 at your 3 pound, and then add just 1 set of 5 at 5 pounds. Even if you have to hold your arm, because that's what when I went up on weight on this, sometimes I had to hold my arm because it was so heavy.
Okay.
But if you keep doing it, eventually it starts feeling much easier.
Yeah, that's very interesting. And actually, that is the one exercise that I am able to do with the heavier weights. So I try to, I'm pretty flexible. I've been doing yoga since 1972, and I've been a swimmer. I used to swim when I lived in New York, and even here 1 hour 4 or 5 times a week. So I'm not, but the ones that I find hard to do with the weights is what they call the butterflies, when you have to raise your arms to the side or to the front. Those are very helpful, the ones you just gave me. And that's were the ones that I was able to do with the heavier ones. So I do those. So thank you for reinforcing that I should keep doing those.
If you're finding them easy, if the 5 pound is easy, go up to 8 pounds.
Yeah, no, I haven't gotten to the 5 pounds. I'm talking about the 3 pounds. I'm able to do it with the 3 pounds. I'm going to try it with the 5 pounds. Me, when I said heavier, those is very hard. Yes.
Abby, can you step back a little bit?
Bringing your arms out like that, the butterfly.
Those are hard to do with
weights. Very hard. It's a very hard exercise.
Absolutely. Those are the ones, those are my Waterloos that I cannot do those. And I can even lifting up, the ones you showed, that would be a way for me to get to those perhaps, so I'm going to increase, I'm going to try it with the 5 pound now. I've been doing it with the 3 pounds. I've been doing it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
All right, Jeffrey and Marcia, we're coming up on 10 after 4, so I really just want to respect everybody's time. So Jeffrey and then Marcia.
Hi, Abby.
Hi.
Very inspirational, as everyone said. I'm glad that you're a great representative, because a lot of women are scared to lift weights because of the myth that they'll grow all these muscles and they'll look like a guy and things like that. So thank you for showing these ladies, and so many of these ladies speak about exercise, and you are inspirational and you're a leader, and congratulations on all your success.
Thank you.
So Jeffrey,
but I want to get more people my age interested because we're strong.
By the way, Jeffrey is also a bodybuilder. He didn't want to say that, but I'll say it for him.
Okay.
It's her show. Thank you very much for all of that.
Thank you.
All righty, Marcia.
Hi, Abby. I
Hi,
just want to
Martha.
say, I just think that you are just such a courageous person, and I think it's just amazing what you've done with your life. Jeffrey actually answered part of my question, because you're so wiry, and I always pictured that somebody would have big bulging, bulky muscles after doing what you do. So I was just wondering, does it have to do with your body, the way you lift things, or?
No, before I started powerlifting, I was pretty flabby, and I didn't have muscles at all. And the powerlifting has really defined my muscles. And I weigh, let's see, I usually weigh about 130 to 135. And I'm pretty lean now, but before I started powerlifting, you would not call me lean.
How tall are you?
How tall am I? I'm 5'5".
Oh, okay.
Just my height.
But
yeah, mine too. No, I shrunk. I'm 5'4" now.
Yeah, I would definitely try powerlifting. You're not going to get all these overdeveloped bulky.
No, I'm not worried about it. I don't know if I'm even a candidate for powerlifting. I'm seeing a doctor next week to find out what my capabilities are, because I won't get into that. But I just wanted to say, just as everyone else, I just think you're incredible. And I think you did a wonderful presentation today. And I just thank you so much.
Thank you.
Very enlightening. Yeah. Thank you.
Joanne, and then I want to end, Sean posted this link in the chat, but I want to end by showing Abby's recent competition, a video from her recent competition. All right, Joanne?
Yes, quick question, Abby. Do you ever use, or is it ever good when you're learning, to use the wrist weights? I don't know whether you call them that, but some people have the weights when they're jogging around their wrists. like 2 pounds, 3. I guess you maybe just go up to 5 pounds. I don't know.
No, I have never used those because I don't jog.
Oh,
I try and walk briskly, but
But you
I'm
don't even-
too active. But anyway, what I use when I'm lifting or when I'm doing push-ups, they're called wrist wraps.
okay.
And it's not a weight, it just is it's like a firm thing, so it protects your wrists.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And you can get those on Amazon. They're very, very helpful.
Okay. Good idea. Thank you.
I use weight when I'm doing leg raises.
Uh-huh.
I do use weights on my legs.
Are you
that's
talking
good.
about ankle weights? Because someone did just post that question in the chat as well. Do you use ankle
Am I
weights?
what?
Are you talking about ankle weights when you're doing leg
No,
raises?
I'm talking about, well, maybe they are ankle weights.
Yeah,
Can you see this?
yeah, I think that's the kind of thing. Yeah.
And I put it like, I lie down and I do them and I raise my leg. I put it about here.
Okay.
How heavy are those?
These are 15 pounds.
Wow.
But the thing that's nice about them, I got these when I had my hip broken or my hip replacement. You can take them out. So you could start with a 5 pound and then just add it till you get up to 15.
Okay.
So they're very nice.
What do they call? Can you order those on Amazon?
Yeah. Leg weights. I'm not sure what
Ankle weights?
leg weight. I call them leg weights because I don't use them on my ankles. I use them in the middle of my leg. But I could look that up and I could also send that to Fiona as a resource because I think these are great.
All righty, thank you so much. So if you want to hear more and get more tips from Abby, make sure that you send me your email so that I can be in touch with you when we figure out what we're going to do as far as her offering a class. So as I mentioned, I wanted to share. Let's see.
Abby Moon hit 47.5 kilo in her opener, 5 kilo jump.
It's a failure though.
Oh, Abby.
I didn't get it. Oh no, maybe I did. Maybe I can't remember what I did.
Personal best for Abby, if she gets it. Oh, jump that press command though. And she'll get some yellow lights.
Okay, so.
Red light, yellow cord, cannot jump that press command. She'll be told by her coaching staff. Got a little excited there.
All right.
Easy problem to fix.
Let me
She
just turn
did get her
this off.
opener, so she's.
I
That's
just want
pretty
to say
intense,
something.
my gosh.
I want to say something about that. My biggest problem with competitions is the commands. I always miss commands. And if I had gotten that, I thought she said press, but if I gotten that, I would have been able to do the next one. I get discouraged when I miss a command. So anyway, but thank you for showing that.
Yeah.
It brings all the memories.
much
of
was that
seeing
weight?
How much was that weight?
Yes.
That was 115.
150.
Easy peasy, easy peasy. Thank you so
More than I weigh.
All right.
I love benching though.